Some of you had some really amazing comments, and no hate to any of the comments. I love the comments. Keep them coming.
Hey y'all, so I was actually a member of the LDS Church for about 3 years from my mid-20s. I'm 31 now. I still have a lot of friends in the church, although I don't talk to them nearly enough. But as you can tell, I'm not from Utah. I'm from Georgia. But a lot of them are out in Utah, Idaho, Nevada, places like that. So if you do get married, there are temples all over the country. They're very pretty. What you're allowed to see is very limited. I got to see a fair amount because I had a limited use recommend, which isn't a full on temple recommend, but it's like a step below that. So I saw my card somewhere. It's packed. But long story short, no, you cannot actually see the actual ceremony. What you can do, what a lot of people do, since you might have somebody left the church or for whatever reason they don't have their valid temple recommend for a variety of reasons, is they will usually have just immediate family and maybe some friends go to the actual sealing, and then they'll have what are usually some pretty awesome receptions. Some people I know one person who she's originally from Vegas and her husband is from North Carolina, and I actually got to go to their North Carolina reception because they had like two or three. I think they had one in Vegas, one in Utah, and one in North Carolina, if I remember correctly. And I've flown out to Utah to go to, I think, 3 receptions. I would have done more, but just with the way that basically everyone decided to get married at the same time, and I could only go to so many because I was in school at the time. So, long story short, yeah, it's usually, the receptions are usually pretty chill. It's nothing too crazy, but they're really nice. One was really interesting with a friend who married a Hawaiian girl, and they're like the cutest couple ever. And the way they met's adorable, but I won't get into all that. But they had some really interesting wedding traditions too. So it's definitely really nice. You get to meet everyone's family, and Mormon families most of the time are pretty big. So there are lots of kids running around and people, and everyone's really nice and very welcoming. However, I do think a lot of people think of it as a personal thing. The actual person who's getting married, it's not their call, it's the church's call. And they are very, very sacred. It's not so much out of sneakiness, they're just viewed as very sacred. So, like, things that happen in the temple kind of stay in the temple. It's kind of like Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So, hopefully, that'll shed some light on what's going on and why, it's not necessarily a personal thing with family. I know people who their siblings would have loved to have had them go to their weddings, but they left the church. So, that wasn't what was what